Welcome back everyone. Today we bring you a story that feels bigger than television, bigger than talent, and even bigger than the stage itself. A story that proves once again why Britain's Got Talent continues to stop hearts around the world, and why even someone as unshakable as Simon Cowell can be pushed to his emotional limits. From the very first second, you could feel it in the air, that quiet electricity before something unforgettable happens. The lights softened, the crowd leaned forward, and Simon Cowell sat at the judge's desk doing what he has done for decades, arms folded, eyes sharp, expecting to be impressed but never expecting to be moved beyond control. This was the moment the Vardanyan brothers walked onto the stage. They didn't rush. They didn't play to the crowd. They didn't beg for applause. They walked with calm confidence, the kind that only comes from trust in each other and trust in years of discipline. The audience reacted with polite curiosity, unsure of what they were about to see. Simon glanced down at his notes, then back up at the stage, his expression neutral, almost guarded. He has seen it all, or at least that is what everyone thinks. The brothers introduced themselves with soft voices but steady posture. No overdramatic backstory, no emotional manipulation, just simple words and quiet respect for the stage they were standing on. From the very start, something felt different. There was no fear in their eyes, only focus. The kind of focus that tells you this performance is not about showing off, but about delivering something precise and powerful. As the music began, the atmosphere changed instantly. The first movements were controlled, deliberate, almost minimal. Some people in the audience looked confused, wondering where this was going. Simon leaned back slightly, one eyebrow lifting, a sign he was paying attention but still skeptical. He has always been honest about his expectations, and at that moment, he was waiting for the moment where acts usually either rise or fall. Then, in one breath, everything shifted. The Vardanyan brothers launched into a sequence so sharp, so synchronized, it felt unreal. Their timing was not just perfect, it was instinctive. They moved as if connected by something invisible, anticipating each other without looking. The audience gasped, not because of one big trick, but because of the precision. Every move landed exactly where it should, every beat hit like a heartbeat echoing through the theater. Simon sat forward now. As the routine built, the difficulty increased. The risks became clearer. This was not just choreography, it was trust taken to its absolute limit. One brother lifted the other into positions that defied balance, strength, and logic. The silence between the moves was just as loud as the music itself. You could hear people holding their breath. You could feel the tension rise with every second. Simon's face changed. The casual confidence he usually wears was gone. His lips pressed together, his eyes locked on the stage, unblinking. This was not the look of a judge evaluating an act. This was the look of a man witnessing something he could not control. The brothers pushed further. The crowd could no longer stay quiet. Every dangerous transition pulled gasps from the audience. A single mistake here would not mean embarrassment, it would mean disaster. And Simon knew it. He shifted in his chair, his hands gripping the armrests. For someone who has built a career on being brutally honest, this was a rare moment where words meant nothing. At the climax of the performance, the Vardanyan brothers attempted their most dangerous sequence. Time seemed to slow down. The music faded just enough for the sound of movement, breath, and tension to fill the room. One brother balanced on the other in a position that looked impossible, their bodies forming a shape that made people forget how gravity works. Simon's mouth opened slightly. You could see it clearly now. His heart truly could not take it. He looked away for a split second, something he almost never does. This was not boredom. This was fear. Real, human fear. The audience noticed it too. Cameras caught his reaction, the way his confidence cracked under the pressure of what he was witnessing. And then, the impossible happened. The brothers completed the move flawlessly. The room exploded. The applause was not polite, not enthusiastic, but thunderous. People leapt to their feet without thinking. Cheers drowned out the music. The energy was raw, overwhelming, uncontrollable. The Vardanyan brothers stood center stage, breathing heavily, eyes wide, absorbing the moment they had just created. Simon Cowell stood up. That alone told the entire story. He didn't clap slowly. He didn't nod with approval. He stood and applauded with genuine intensity, shaking his head in disbelief. For a man known for holding back praise, this reaction was louder than any compliment he could give. When the applause finally settled enough for the judges to speak, Simon took a breath, collecting himself. He admitted something rare. He said that moments like this are the reason the show exists. He confessed that there were points during the performance where he honestly thought he couldn't watch, where his heart was racing, where fear took over. He told them that he has seen countless acts across the world, but very few have ever made him feel that way. The audience listened in silence. Simon went on to say that what the Vardanyan brothers delivered was not just talent, it was trust, discipline, and absolute commitment. He emphasized that danger alone is not enough, but danger combined with control is something extraordinary. His voice carried respect, not judgment. Other judges echoed the sentiment, but it was Simon's reaction that everyone remembered. Because when Simon Cowell is shaken, you know something truly special has happened. The brothers thanked the judges, their voices trembling now, the adrenaline finally catching up to them. As they walked off stage, the crowd continued to cheer, unwilling to let the moment end. Backstage, you could see the emotion finally surface. Relief, joy, pride, all colliding at once. This performance quickly became one of the most talked about moments of the season. Clips spread everywhere. People replayed Simon's reaction again and again, focusing on that moment when even he had to look away. Fans commented on how rare it is to see him so visibly affected, how it reminded them that behind the sharp critiques is a human being who can still be surprised. What makes this story even more powerful is what it represents. Britain's Got Talent has always been about more than winning. It's about moments that stay with you, moments that remind you why art, performance, and human connection matter. The Vardanyan brothers didn't just perform a routine, they created a shared experience between themselves, the judges, and millions watching around the world. Simon Cowell has built his legacy on discovering stars, shaping careers, and defining pop culture. But nights like this show another side of that legacy. A man who still cares. A man who can still be moved. A man whose heart, even after everything he has seen, can still be pushed to the edge by raw talent and fearless execution. As viewers, we often forget how rare that is. The Vardanyan brothers walked onto that stage as performers, but they walked off as something more. They became a reminder that excellence is not loud, confidence does not need arrogance, and the greatest reactions are the ones you can't fake. And as Simon Cowell himself showed us, sometimes even the toughest hearts are no match for true brilliance. As the echoes of applause faded and the Vardanyan brothers disappeared behind the stage curtains, something unusual lingered in the theater. It wasn't just excitement. It was that rare silence that follows greatness, the kind where people need a moment to process what they've just witnessed. Even the judges sat quietly for a few seconds longer than usual, letting the moment breathe. Simon Cowell was still standing. He slowly sat back down, exhaling as if he had just finished a difficult journey himself. Those closest to him could see it clearly. His hands were slightly tense, his posture not as relaxed as before. This was not an act. This was not television drama. This was genuine. For someone who has watched thousands of auditions, judged millions of performances, and built an empire on talent, this one had gone straight past his professional armor. Backstage, producers exchanged looks. They knew they had just captured something special. Not just an incredible act, but a reaction that couldn't be scripted. Simon Cowell shaken. Simon Cowell overwhelmed. Simon Cowell, for once, not in control of his own emotions. When the cameras returned to the judges, Simon spoke again, this time more calmly, but with a seriousness that made everyone listen even closer. He explained that danger on stage is something he never takes lightly. He has always been honest about it, sometimes even harsh. But what the Vardanyan brothers showed was responsibility. Every move was calculated. Every risk was earned. And that, he said, is what separates reckless acts from world-class performers. The audience applauded again, not for the brothers this time, but for the truth of his words. Simon went on to reflect, something he doesn't often do on camera. He talked about how shows like Britain's Got Talent are not just about finding the next winner, but about moments that define a season, sometimes even the entire history of the show. He admitted that this performance would be remembered long after the season ended, regardless of trophies or titles. As the night continued and other acts took the stage, the shadow of the Vardanyan brothers' performance remained. Judges compared energy levels. The audience reacted more intensely, as if their senses had been sharpened. But everyone knew they had already witnessed one of the night's peaks. Later, during a quieter moment off camera, Simon was asked how he truly felt watching the act. Without the pressure of live television, he was even more honest. He said that there was a point where he genuinely feared something could go wrong. That fear, he admitted, is what made it so powerful. Not because of the danger itself, but because of the trust between the brothers. Trust like that cannot be taught quickly. It is built over years of discipline, failure, and relentless practice. He also said something that surprised many people. He confessed that acts like this remind him why he started in this industry in the first place. Before fame, before criticism, before success, it was always about that feeling. The feeling of seeing something new, something extraordinary, something that makes you forget everything else for a moment. For viewers at home, social media exploded. Clips of the performance spread across platforms within minutes. Comments poured in from all over the world. People talked about the precision, the bravery, the emotion. But one thing stood out above everything else. Simon Cowell's reaction. Fans replayed the exact moment he looked away, the moment his confidence cracked, the moment his heart clearly could not take it anymore. Many viewers said they had never seen him like that before. Others said it made them respect him more, seeing that even someone known for toughness could still be deeply affected by true talent. The Vardanyan brothers became the topic of discussion in interviews, reaction videos, and fan forums. People wanted to know their story, their training, their bond. But what resonated most was not where they came from, but how they performed. Calm under pressure. Silent confidence. Absolute unity. Simon later addressed aspiring performers watching the show. He said that talent alone is never enough. What matters is preparation, respect for the craft, and understanding the responsibility that comes with stepping onto a stage like that. He used the Vardanyan brothers as an example of how to do it right. Not louder, not flashier, just better. As the season progressed, their audition became a benchmark. Other acts were measured against it, sometimes unfairly. But that's what truly great moments do. They raise the standard. Looking back, that night wasn't just about one performance. It was about a reminder. A reminder that even after years of experience, even after seeing it all, Simon Cowell can still be surprised. His heart can still race. His confidence can still be shaken. And when that happens, you know you are witnessing something rare. Because talent like that doesn't just impress judges. It changes them. And that is why the Vardanyan brothers' performance will live on, not just as a viral moment, not just as a highlight, but as proof that true brilliance can still stop even the toughest hearts in their tracks. If moments like this are why you love Britain's Got Talent, then this performance will stay with you for a long time. Because when talent reaches this level, it doesn't just entertain. It stops hearts.